Most people never see it coming. They misinterpret the Sigma male's silence as weakness, his solitude as isolation, and his calm, composed demeanor as passivity, a fatal miscalculation. Because the truth is, Sigma males are the most formidable men in any room, not because they raise their voices, not because they seek attention, and certainly not because they feel the need to prove themselves. Unlike others who burn energy boasting, posturing, and seeking validation, a Sigma male remains quiet, observant, and methodical. He is always calculating, assessing, and analyzing every detail of his environment. While others are distracted by their egos, chasing approval, or engaging in mindless competition, the Sigma male remains 2 steps ahead, mentally mapping out every possible outcome before making a move. He never acts impulsively. He never allows emotions to cloud his judgment. And he certainly never strikes unless it's absolutely necessary. But when he does, it's swift, precise, and over before his adversary even realizes what happened. There are no warnings, no wasted words, no unnecessary theatrics. Just cold, calculated execution, one move, one decision. One action that changes everything, and by the time the world catches up, he has already moved on, unbothered, unaffected, and completely in control. This is why they are feared. Sigma males don't operate within the confines of conventional thinking. They refuse to conform to societal expectations, they are indifferent to validation, and they do not believe in second chances. Cross a Sigma male once, and there will be no negotiation, no heated exchange, no drawn-out conflict. Just silence and then, an irreversible consequence. He doesn't waste time explaining himself. He doesn't argue. He simply disappears from your life, leaving behind a void that cannot be filled, a lesson that cannot be undone. Most people live their lives bound by fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of losing social status. They allow these fears to dictate their choices, their actions, and even their self-worth. But a Sigma male operates differently. He walks through life with an unshakable detachment, free from the invisible chains that hold others captive. He is not afraid to walk away from toxic people, meaningless relationships, or situations that no longer serve him. And this makes him dangerous because you cannot control a man who is willing to lose everything except his self-respect. Today, we're uncovering the 7 ways Sigma males silently assert their dominance, proving they are the most dangerous force you could ever misjudge. These are not just behaviors, they are tactical advantages, powerful, unshakable weapons forged through discipline and strategic detachment. Each one is a calculated move, a mindset that sets him apart, and a force that demands respect without ever asking for it. And once you grasp their nature, you'll never see a Sigma male the same way again. Let's begin. Before we start, I've noticed that most of you watch my stories without subscribing. Come on guys, show some love and hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world and helps me keep creating content you enjoy. Number 1. They always have a plan even when you think they don't. A Sigma male is never caught off guard. To the outside world, he may seem quiet, detached, or even indifferent. But beneath that calm exterior lies a mind that is always calculating, always anticipating, always preparing. While most people live reactively, only dealing with problems when they arise, a Sigma male is steps ahead, predicting outcomes and crafting solutions before others even recognize there's a problem. This level of foresight makes him exceptionally dangerous because it means he is never truly vulnerable. Even in moments where he appears unprepared, he isn't. He has already considered multiple possibilities, analyzed different scenarios, and developed strategies to navigate them. If you think you've outmaneuvered him, it's because he allowed you to think so. If you assume he's lost, it's only because he's setting you up for a bigger fall. Sigma males do not rely on luck, impulsiveness, or blind optimism. They rely on strategy. Whether it's in business, relationships, or personal challenges, they approach everything with a long-term mindset. While others make emotional decisions based on fear, frustration, or desire, a Sigma remains calm, logical, and composed. He doesn't make rash moves. He doesn't react impulsively. He doesn't play a game he hasn't already mastered in his mind. This is why he is impossible to control. You cannot manipulate someone who has already foreseen your intentions. You cannot deceive someone who has already considered your lies before you even spoke them. You cannot trap someone who has already found the exits before stepping into the room. The Sigma male's greatest strength isn't his physical dominance, his intelligence, or his resilience. It's his ability to think 5 steps ahead of everyone else. And that's why he always wins. Not because he's the loudest, not because he's the strongest, and not because he forces his way to victory, but because, by the time you realize he's playing the game, he's already won. Number 2. They fight only when necessary, and that's what makes them lethal. Most men fight for the wrong reasons. They get into conflicts driven by ego, pride, or a desperate need to prove something to themselves, to others, to the world. They puff their chests, throw reckless punches, and escalate situations just to assert dominance. But a Sigma male, he doesn't operate that way. He does not engage in petty disputes, nor does he waste his time proving his strength through unnecessary battles. He is not controlled by emotion, nor is he blinded by the need for validation. He doesn't fight to look powerful, he fights to eliminate threats. A Sigma male's restraint is often mistaken for passivity. Others may think that because he remains calm in the face of provocation, he is weak or unwilling to stand his ground. But that assumption is a fatal mistake. A Sigma does not fight because he lacks the ability, he refrains because he understands the cost. He knows that real strength isn't about throwing punches at every challenge. It's about mastering control. Wasted energy on meaningless confrontations is beneath him. He picks his battles carefully, always weighing the risks and the consequences before engaging. However, when a Sigma male is forced into a fight when there is no other option, his response is swift, precise, and devastating. He does not hesitate, he does not second guess. And he certainly does not stop until the problem is completely neutralized. Unlike those who engage in conflict for show, he doesn't waste time posturing or giving warnings. His actions are direct, calculated, and designed to end the situation as efficiently as possible. What makes a Sigma male particularly dangerous is his unpredictability. Since he rarely engages in fights, people assume he is not a threat. They mistake his silence for weakness and his calm demeanor for submission. But what they don't realize is that every moment leading up to the fight, the Sigma has been observing, calculating, and preparing. He has already analyzed his opponent's weaknesses, predicted their next moves, and determined the fastest way to end the altercation. For a Sigma male, fighting is never about proving a point. It's not about ego, dominance, or impressing anyone. It is purely about resolution. And when he does fight, it's never reckless, it's surgical. His approach is like that of a strategist, not a brute. He ensures that once he strikes, the issue is resolved permanently. There is no back and forth, no drawn-out battle of wills. He fights with one goal in mind: to end the conflict in the most efficient way possible. This is what makes a Sigma male's approach to conflict so terrifying. He doesn't fight often, but when he does, it's already too late for his opponent. There is no warning, no chance to reconsider, no opportunity to retreat. He acts with precision, and by the time the other person realizes what's happening, the fight is already over. Number 3. They don't show emotion, they control it. Most men react. They let their emotions dictate their actions, cloud their judgment, and expose their vulnerabilities. A Sigma male, however, operates on an entirely different level. He doesn't let emotions control him, he controls them. His mind is a fortress, impenetrable and unshaken. To the outside world, he appears cold, detached, and unreadable. But this isn't because he lacks emotions, on the contrary. He feels everything, but he refuses to be ruled by what he feels. Emotions, when left unchecked, are a liability, a weapon that can be turned against you. And a Sigma male has mastered the art of emotional discipline to the point where nothing can shake his composure. You'll never see him flinch in the face of adversity. You'll never catch him losing control in a heated moment. You won't hear him cry out in frustration, and you certainly won't see him act out of desperation. Why? Because the moment someone knows what triggers you, they own you. And a Sigma male will never give anyone that power. The world is full of impulsive people, men who lash out in anger, who get defensive when challenged, who crumble under pressure. They give away their weaknesses so easily, exposing every insecurity and letting others manipulate them like puppets. That's not the Sigma way. If someone insults him, he doesn't react emotionally. Instead, he absorbs the information, taking mental notes. He studies the person, understanding their motives, cataloging their behavior for future use. If someone tries to intimidate him, he doesn't puff his chest or escalate the situation. He remains silent, watching, calculating. His lack of response makes his presence even more unsettling because nothing is more unnerving than a man who refuses to be shaken. If someone attempts to manipulate him, he doesn't argue. He plays along, letting them think they're in control, allowing them to weave their web of deception. And then, when they least expect it, he flips the script, exposing their game and leaving them powerless. A Sigma male is like a chess master playing against people who don't even realize they're in the game. He sees every move before it happens. While others are reacting, he's already 10 steps ahead, waiting for the right moment to strike. This is what makes a Sigma male dangerous. You will never see his next move. He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. He buries them so deep that no one can predict what he's thinking, feeling, or planning. This level of emotional control makes him nearly invincible in conflicts, whether they are mental, emotional, or even physical. When someone tries to provoke him, he doesn't take the bait. Instead, he lets them dig their own grave, observing their every mistake. When someone pushes him, he doesn't push back like a fool. Instead, he pulls them in, allowing them to think they have the upper hand before striking with a precision they never saw coming. When someone underestimates him, he doesn't correct them. He lets them believe whatever they want, using their ignorance as his greatest weapon. People fear what they cannot read, and a Sigma male is unreadable. His silence is unsettling, his lack of reaction is intimidating. His unpredictability makes him a nightmare for anyone who tries to challenge him. And by the time his enemies realize what's happening, it's already too late. Number 4. They have zero fear of walking away. Most people live in constant fear of loss of relationships, careers, social validation, and even personal identity. They cling to situations that no longer serve them, hoping for change, terrified of the uncertainty that comes with letting go. A Sigma male, however, has no such fear. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't negotiate with toxicity. He simply walks away without a second thought, without regret, without looking back. What makes a Sigma male dangerous is that he has nothing you can take from him. He isn't bound by attachments in the same way others are. He doesn't seek approval, nor does he crave external validation. His sense of self is not tied to how others perceive him, which means no one can manipulate him using fear, a job that disrespects him. He'll quit without hesitation. A woman who plays games, she finds herself alone before she even realizes what happened. A so-called friend who betrays him, that person will cease to exist in his world, removed like a piece of data erased from a hard drive. This level of detachment is terrifying to most people because they rely on the ability to control others through emotional leverage. Society is built on invisible chains: guilt, obligation, social expectations, and fear of rejection. But a Sigma male doesn't wear those chains. He cannot be emotionally blackmailed, guilt-tripped, or pressured into staying in any situation that no longer benefits him. When he walks away, it's not out of anger or spite, it's a calculated decision. And the moment he decides you no longer belong in his life, you become nothing more than a distant memory. Number 5. They are unpredictable, and that's a weapon. Most people operate on predictable patterns. They have routines, habits, and emotional triggers that make them easy to read. You can tell when they're angry, when they're scared, when they're lying. Their responses are automatic, almost programmed. But a Sigma male, he's an anomaly, an outlier in a world obsessed with predictability. You will never fully understand what a Sigma male is thinking. One moment, he may be completely silent, seemingly uninterested in the situation. The next, he is making moves no one saw coming, shifting the entire dynamic without warning. He intentionally keeps people guessing because unpredictability is one of the greatest forms of power. If no one can anticipate his next step, no one can counter him. The moment someone becomes predictable, they become controllable. When others know what makes you angry, they can provoke you. When they know what makes you happy, they can manipulate you. But a Sigma male never gives anyone that advantage. When you assume he's ignoring you, he's actually observing. When you think he's given up, he's recalibrating. And when you believe you've won, you've already lost because he was never playing by your rules in the first place. Sigma males do not operate within the boundaries of societal norms, conventional relationships, or mainstream expectations. They function on instinct, strategy, and self-mastery. They cannot be cornered, because they never allow themselves to be trapped. They do not play by the rules, because they create their own. And when you try to pin them down, they will slip through your fingers like smoke only to reappear where you least expect them. Number 6. They show mercy once then never again. Most people believe in second chances. They forgive, they forget, and they allow the same people to hurt them repeatedly under the illusion that change is possible. A Sigma male does not operate under such naive assumptions. In his world, trust is given once if at all. If you betray that trust, you're done. There are no emotional appeals, no long-winded explanations, no dramatic confrontations. Just silence. And silence, from a Sigma male, is far more terrifying than any threat. Because when a Sigma male goes quiet, it means he's processing, calculating, and making a final decision. He doesn't react in the moment. He doesn't argue. He doesn't plead. Instead, he observes, and when he decides that you are no longer worthy of his time, you are erased. No warnings, no goodbyes, just complete and utter indifference. This ruthless approach to relationships makes Sigma males dangerous, because they do not tolerate disrespect. Most people allow toxic individuals to remain in their lives out of fear of confrontation, loneliness, or guilt, but a Sigma male has no such weaknesses. The first time, he may let a slight go watching, waiting, testing, but the second time, you won't even realize you've been cut off until you reach out and find nothing but silence in return. Number 7. They never forget a disrespect, and that's what makes them dangerous. Most people have a habit of letting things slide. They brush off insults, betrayals, and blatant acts of disrespect, convincing themselves that forgetting is the same as healing. They assume time will smooth over the wounds, that people will change, and that holding on to past wrongs only leads to unnecessary conflict. But a Sigma male, he operates differently. He doesn't forget ever. He may not react immediately, but every slight, every deceitful action, and every moment of betrayal is catalogued, stored away, and remembered in vivid detail. Not out of pettiness, not out of bitterness, but out of sheer strategy. Sigma males are not the kind of men who waste energy on meaningless revenge. They don't throw tantrums, seek attention, or allow their emotions to cloud their judgment. Instead, they observe, they analyze. They remember. Their minds work like a high-functioning database, constantly recognizing patterns, identifying manipulative behaviors, and predicting future betrayals before they even happen. While others are busy underestimating them, assuming they've been forgiven or forgotten, a Sigma is silently watching, waiting for the perfect moment to act. But here's where it gets terrifying. When a Sigma male finally decides to respond to a past disrespect, it's never impulsive, it's calculated. There are no loud confrontations, no emotional outbursts, no petty arguments. When he makes his move, it's surgical, precise, and completely devastating. It's the kind of response that changes the entire dynamic of a relationship, leaving the other person wondering how they never saw it coming. And the worst part, by the time they realize what's happening, it's already too late. This ability to store information and use it strategically is what makes Sigma males so powerful. They don't just move on blindly, hoping things will fix themselves. They remember patterns. They track behaviors. They know exactly who to trust and who to keep at arm's length. And once someone has proven themselves to be disloyal, untrustworthy, or disrespectful, a Sigma male will never view them the same way again. The real danger: most people assume they've gotten away with their actions because a Sigma male doesn't react immediately. But that's the mistake, confusing silence for weakness. A Sigma's silence isn't surrender. It's calculation. And when the time is right, when the lesson needs to be taught, he will make sure the other person never underestimates him again. Number 8. They see through every lie and manipulation, and that's what makes them unstoppable. You cannot deceive a Sigma male. You can try, but you will fail. He notices everything, every inconsistency in your words, every nervous shift in your body language, every subtle change in your tone. While most people are easily fooled because they want to believe in lies, a Sigma male harbors no such illusions. He does not allow emotions to cloud his judgment, nor does he place blind trust in words that don't align with actions. He understands human nature at a level most people never will, and that makes him nearly impossible to manipulate. The average person operates on trust, often to their own detriment. They want to fit in. They want to believe in the best in others. They want to assume that people are honest, that words have meaning, that deception is the exception rather than the rule. But a Sigma male does not live in that fantasy. He listens carefully. He observes without drawing attention to himself. He dissects every piece of information given to him, analyzing it for inconsistencies, contradictions, and hidden motives. What makes him particularly dangerous is his patience. When he senses deception, he doesn't react immediately. He doesn't call it out, he doesn't accuse, and he certainly doesn't give the liar the satisfaction of knowing he's onto them. Instead, he waits, he watches, he lets the deceiver believe they are in control, allowing them to dig themselves deeper into their web of lies. And when they have completely exposed themselves, when they are most vulnerable, that is when he strikes. By the time a liar realizes what's happening, it's already too late. Sigma males don't just expose deception, they dismantle it. They reveal the truth in a way that leaves no room for excuses, no chance for escape. And they do it with a calm, calculated precision that makes it all the more devastating. But it doesn't stop there. Sigma males do not just see through lies, they remember them. If someone attempts to manipulate him once, they will never get another chance. He stores that information, cataloging their behaviors, their tactics, their weaknesses. He may not react today, tomorrow, or even next week, but make no mistake, he has not forgotten. He is simply waiting for the right moment to make his move. This is what makes a Sigma male's mind so formidable. He does not play chess like the average strategist. He plays an entirely different game, one most people aren't even aware exists. His ability to see through deception, to remain unaffected by manipulation, and to patiently wait for the perfect opportunity makes him a force to be reckoned with. And by the time his enemies realize they've been outmaneuvered, the game is already over. Checkmate. If you found this video insightful or relatable, why not join our growing community? Subscribe to the channel for more content exploring the mindsets, traits, and behaviors of Sigma males. Your engagement helps us dive deeper into these unique perspectives. Be sure to like this video if it resonated with you, share it with someone who might appreciate it, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Remember, as a Sigma male or someone inspired by their path, staying true to yourself is the ultimate strength. Keep evolving, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.